Thank you so much for returning to My Unpopular Opinion. If you like my commentary, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel and turn your post notifications on. So you can see from the thumbnail, I'm talking about Cynthia Bailey in her recent interview she did with two people actually. She did an interview with Teddy Mellencamp, I think it is, and she did an interview with Kandi Jigaboo Burris. So we all know that Nene did her interview with Carlos King. The first part and the second part aired on YouTube. It's done really, really well. But Nene's interview has all the girls bothered. It's so funny how people get on here and say, oh, Nene's so irrelevant and she's so this and she's so that. So why did she do a simple interview? So many other people did an interview on Carlos King's podcast and no one gave a crap. No one cared. But why, when Nene did her interview, why is the first interview almost getting 1 million views? The second one is on its way and everybody's so riled up. Nene wore feathers. I saw a comment that said this, that she wore feathers because she knew she was going to ruffle some feathers. And clearly she did, because everybody is showing how pressed they are. Sheree came out looking real pressed on Twitter. And Cynthia, of course, had to do this interview with Kandi, who her and Kandi are both pressed by anything Nene says or does. So it's so funny that Nene is so irrelevant, yet everybody's so pressed, including all the housewives, or former housewives too, including Stone-Face Cynthia from all those fillers. So Stone-Face Cynthia goes on her bestie Kandi's podcast, aka her secret lesbian lover, allegedly. As you can see, they even kissed in this episode, but that's a conversation for another day. Cynthia went on here, and my main point of doing this video is that Cynthia said something along the lines of, well, if Nene is so this and that and she built this show and this is the house that she built, then she can go somewhere else and build another one. And to me, both of them were sitting there cackling, thinking it's cute and funny. And I'm thinking, like, y'all cannot laugh. Y'all just shaded yourselves. Because for one, Cynthia, what house have you built? That's the real question I want to ask. What house has Cynthia built on any network? What show, aka house, have you built on any network where you feel like you can speak about Lenethia Monique Leakes building another house? When you build one, then Nene can build another one. We'll talk about Nene building another one. But let's see Cynthia build one first on any network and see how successful it is. And then if you can do that, then you can speak about Nene building Real Housewives of Atlanta and then building something else. You can't make jokes about somebody doing something that you haven't even done once. That's there. And for Kandi to laugh, it's like, Kandi may have her own businesses and things like that she has built or whatever, but she dang sure didn't build Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's actually the reason it's falling apart now. And all of Kandi's spinoffs, yes, she gets a spinoff here and there, but they don't do anything, and they don't come for a second or third and fourth season like Vanderpump Rules. Kandi had her little restaurant show, her D-rated restaurant that keeps, failing its hygiene test or whatever. And she was doing that restaurant on the show or whatever. And as you can see, that show that she had for the restaurant got canceled. Kandi and the Gang or whatever got canceled. So, Kandi, what house have you built on a network? Because we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen anything from you besides your bedroom Kandi, and then you crying and playing the victim on Housewives of Atlanta, and then also playing the victim in Escape and trying to sabotage Latasha. But anywho, so these girls getting in here laughing, trying to kiki and hee ha ha about Nene. You can't laugh about somebody that gave y'all jobs that paid y'all well. Because let's be honest, Nene spoke about in her interview that I think the second or third season they went and got the same attorney so that they could get more money. And then the more that Nene elevated that show, the more money everybody around her was also getting on that show. They wouldn't be getting this much money had Nene not been on the show, helping the show become successful. So it's just crazy to me when Cynthia, stone-faced fake Cynthia, gets on here and tries to play the victim like, oh, I didn't do anything to Nene. I didn't, do anything. You were a fake friend to Nene, and you literally sacrificed your friendship with Nene for other people like Kandi and Kenya and for the show and the storyline. And look how that landed, Cynthia. Cynthia, you eventually got kicked off the show, right? You got your second or third divorce. Nobody's checking for you. And then she's talking about she's acting. Girl, take that hard face on and get off the screen and go worry about why you cannot keep a man, okay? Yeah, to me, Cynthia just always been a shady snake, just slithering all around Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's just so crazy that people fail to realize how much of a snake Cynthia really is. Think about it. All these years on Housewives, she betrayed Nene like no other for Kandi and Kenya and had an alliance with her. And then she's going on Kandi's show acting like, oh, I don't know what happened. You were literally caught having an audio that season where Kenya was off and y'all were trying to get her back on the show at all costs behind Nene's back, and was sitting there recorded telling Mike, oh, I'm supposed to act like I don't know Kenya's coming. Remember, she got caught with that recording and other things. And if Nene was her real friend, she would have just came to Nene and said, hey, Nene, I know whatever, but Kenya's coming tonight. It just showed how sneaky and shisty Cynthia was. And I feel like the production was actually doing something good by showing that audio of her whispering to Mike, of her supposedly pretending. It's another audio of Kandi and Cynthia on the phone. I think Kandi was mic'd up and she was filming, and Cynthia called her to talk about some of their alliance information that season, and Kandi had to hurry up and tell her, oh, Cynthia, I'm mic'd up, I'm mic'd, hold on. So I think that was the same season. So they've been doing little shady, sneaky stuff. Cynthia is not innocent. Also, when she was coming for Phaedra so hard, and that year when she said, oh, win a case, and Phaedra said, well, stay out of the case because Peter has many in all these different counties, and Cynthia said it was a lie. Why? Later down the line, we found out Phaedra was not lying. Cynthia literally knew about all of Peter's cases. Peter did have a million cases, and Peter even owed Cynthia money, and later down the line, Cynthia even sued Peter, her ex-husband, and threw him under the bus. So I think Cynthia has been a snake, and Nene has known it. Like Nene said, because she plays this little feeble mouse role so well, people end up thinking that, oh, she's innocent, and then because somebody as confident and, bold as Nene, they'll think, oh, Nene's the one that's, being mean, and Cynthia's not. But in life, you have to pay attention to those, people who sit there and try to play like they're innocent. Those are usually the ones who are not, and that will be Cynthia, stone face, rock hard cheeks, Bailey. So when it pertains to comparing what Cynthia Bailey has done in Nene Leakes, there is no comparison. I know that people say, oh, Cynthia started doing modeling and she was somebody before Housewives and Nene was nobody until Housewives. Well, isn't that amazing that a regular, everyday black woman who was a housewife and a mother could get on a television show and rock everybody's world, become a household name, and be super successful, and the most successful reality star, black one at that, of all time? I mean, isn't that amazing? Cynthia couldn't do that. And for her to be so well known, I didn't know who Cynthia Bailey was until she was on Housewives of Atlanta, and I don't think a lot of people did. So I don't know where that argument comes from, but even with people knowing who both of them are now, Cynthia has still not achieved the level of things that Nene has, and she hasn't made the same impact that Nene has, and I think impact goes way further than a few gigs here and there with Kandi Burruss. And somebody else made a comment on Twitter saying that Nene doesn't have a legacy outside of reality TV and that Cynthia does. And I thought that was like insane. They need to be put in an insane asylum for saying that, because Nene Leakes is literally in the Smithsonian African American History Museum in Washington, D.C. If you guys didn't know, you can go to that museum and you can literally see Nene on the wall in one of their exhibits about black entertainment, and Nene Leakes is on there, okay? So that in itself shuts down anything Cynthia Bailey has done. No other black housewife is in that museum, or any museum for that matter. Nene has been on Broadway as the first black Madame in Cinderella. So there's things that she has achieved outside of reality TV. I mean, her character in Glee was hilarious. She did get the new normal and other things. Like, she was on Celebrity Apprentice and her personality made it hilarious and iconic. So, she's done a lot of stuff that Cynthia could never do. And to be honest, a lot of the people who hate on her, like Kandi and other people, could never do. Whether y'all want to admit it or not. I don't know whether y'all like her or not. You can't take away her talent, her charisma, her personality. And Cynthia, Kandi, and whoever else can keep hating. So y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all think about this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn your post notifications on. Bye-bye.